I've been in this nation for a while to understand our challenges as a nation. But I want to take it up from the Christian point of view. I am a Christian activist and the president of Concerned Clergy Association of Ghana. I fight for the church, I defend the church, and I stand up for the things of the church. There have been a couple of times my name has been mentioned in cabinet meetings because the government thinks that I was disturbing them when they want to go a particular direction. If you look at the theme for this program, it says that strategizing, mobilizing, and organizing. Those words look big and frightening. But I think that the church as it is now is not capable of strategizing. We are not capable of mobilizing, and we are not capable of organizing because we've been consumed by religion rather than spirituality. And that is why this nation is suffering. Ghana is not suffering by economic mismanagement. Ghana is suffering by serious Christian activist leadership. There is no country in this world that is secular. There is no country. And when we use the word secular to describe Ghana, it is a means for us to shirk our responsibilities because we don't want to be seen as cowards when we have to stand up to what we believe is good and is right for this nation. Some of the nations that people use to describe as secular are not secular at all. And most of the time they point fingers at China. China has more gods than we have in Ghana. In fact, they have 1 million idols they worship. And no Chinese man goes to work without lighting an incense and calling on their God. So when you hear people going on radio and say that China don't worship God, they are prospering and all that, you don't necessarily have to call on the God of heaven. But once you understand the spiritual dimension of development, then you will begin to realize that you cannot take away spirituality from develop any nation. Europe and America did not develop because they have some intelligent people. They developed because they believe in the principles of Christianity and Judaism. And that is what drives their development and brought them to where they are today. Even though today they are looking at something else. No nation can develop without values. If we want to develop as a nation, what values drives us? In 2015, the World Economic Forum realized that no matter how hard they try, they cannot develop this world without inculcating the faith of the people into developmental principles. So since 2015, the World Economic Forum had been trying to bring in religious leaders to share with them and to strategize. In Ghana, we talk about the fact that Christians are about 75% of the population. If we are 75% of the population, then we don't even need to pray and fast before we decide who becomes president. That makes us waste a lot of time. Because if we are really united as Christians, and we are truly 75%, all we need to do is to identify our values and find out who represents our values and back the person, and that's it. If you look at Proverbs chapter number 29, verse 2, it talks about this popular scripture saying, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. The second part of this scripture, most of the time is ignored. But if you look at this scripture carefully, it tells you that the righteous can rule, the wicked can rule. So if the righteous can rule and the wicked can rule, and we'll always have to depend on God to choose a leader for us, then who puts the wicked in place? It is the people. It is our lack of understanding and our commitment to our own beliefs that gives us the kind of leaders we want. We should never forget that there are things God will not do, no matter how hard we try to convince him, because he believes that we are capable of making the right choices. Remember that Mordecai told Esther. He said, maybe you are in the kingdom for such a time as this. We are here as Christians, as reverend ministers and all that. One of the things I've identified is that most of the time we ignore our principles when we get into the position of authority. In Ghana, there was a time we had a president who was so much spiritual and so much into prayer that he was described to have turned the seat of government into chapel. And some pastors and some leaders, Christian leaders, even criticized. I know some religious leaders who will not attend any program he organizes. But these same religious leaders are quiet when our Jubilee House is used to break fast after Ramadan fasting. That is the problem we have. That is the challenge we have as a nation. We are not honest and truthful as Christian leaders. That is why Ghana is suffering. We don't believe what we believe, we don't fight for what we believe, and we don't support what we believe. So even though we have parliamentary Christian fellowship, they are suffering. Why should the majority Christian fellowship suffer? Any country that has 51% Muslims is a Muslim country. Any country. In fact, even if they have 49, you have to be careful because they will want to override. Now, we need to understand that we don't even need to declare Ghana a Christian nation. All we need to do is to influence its policies. That's all we need to do. Influence the policies that run this nation, and whether we declare it a Christian nation or not, it will be seen and it will be realized. But we don't do that. Now let me tell you something. In the presidency of Donald Trump, he wanted to do a lot to promote Christianity. And some of the Democrats and the global leaning liberals wanted to fight him. You realize that when he was operating as a president, he has a lot of impeachment hanging on his head. But one thing the world didn't know was that even though they wanted to impeach him, at the same time they didn't want him to go. The impeachment was just to destroy his political record, not to take him out of office. And the reason was his vice president. They thought that if they move him out, the vice president would be more dangerous than Donald Trump. And you know why they thought his vice president would be more dangerous? Because his vice president was more Christian. So they were afraid of the Christian values of his vice president. So they said that let's use impeachment to destroy him, but let's keep him in office. Because if he goes, the man that is coming is more Christian than him. So they were afraid of his Christianity. Nobody is afraid of any Christian leader in Ghana. Whether you are president, they don't care. We are worried. And the Honorable Minister spoke about the fact that there are other groups here, and they are worried about them. If we have a speaker that is clearly a Freemason and promoting it, we'll be worried. But why is the world not worried we have a Christian speaker? Why is the world not worried we have a Christian president? Why is the world not worried we have a Christian chief justice? Because they know that we will not use our Christianity to do anything. They know. They know. So they don't care. They don't care us rising to the top. They don't care. Because they know when you get there, it's nothing. But when you get one other religious person get to that place, when we know they are going to influence things, we have that opportunity so much to turn this nation around. But we've always not rise up to the occasion. We always abandon Christianity when it's needed most. Now listen to this. The LGBT bill that is in Parliament. Why is it difficult to do it? This is a nation that is struggling so hard to build a $400 million cathedral, and we can't pass LGBT bill in Parliament. We contradict ourselves and confuse ourselves because we can demonstrate and do all the things that we want to do, but yet we are not able to stand up When the LGBT bill was presented to Parliament, there were people who were advocating that Ghana is a secular nation. Ghana is a secular nation. Then, it's the same people who said Ghana is a Christian nation, so we have to build cathedral. So when it comes to cathedral, we are a Christian nation. When it comes to LGBT bill, we are a secular nation. What kind of people are we? We are so confused. Whilst other religions use their money to push their faith, Christians use our faith to push for money. So the Muslim doesn't mind having one car and using the rest of the money to influence votes so he can come to Parliament. While the Christian will have to have 8 V8, spend all the money building the mansion and loses Parliament, and the Muslim takes it. Because that's what we do. We use our religion to chase for money. We are not honest with our religious beliefs. That's why this nation is suffering. So when we talk about mobilizing, strategizing, organizing, I know it's not going to work. I'm telling you, I've been in this business for a long time. Because if it's not me, right now, every good business in Ghana that Christian owned has collapsed. Every good business. The banks, some of the churches you see around were financed by Unibank and Capital Bank. They are down. We prefer to go into the forest to fast and pray for God to send money from heaven rather than to pray to support Christian bank to survive. Because we don't care. And the man who led to the collapse of Christian banks is a Christian. He never speaks one sentence without quoting scripture. These are the things that we face. No Muslim will set out to go and destroy Muslim businesses, no matter how bad they look. When Obama came to power and we have this financial, they put money into all the companies that were collapsing. And it wasn't even a Christian company. They knew that these companies, they commanded, we have what we call the commanding heights of the economy. They didn't want those businesses to go down. All the best businesses in Ghana that Christians own are down. They're collapsed. They're gone. We prefer Malcolm to A-Life. When this young man carries money at the end of the month and distributes it to church. Capital Bank has church auditorium in every branch. They do church service all night. I've attended their all nights before. It's down. Banks, churches went to Unibank to borrow money to build auditoriums. But we sat down, and for some reasons, we allowed it to go down. Because we don't control anything. Because Christians will not support our own. We will not defend our own. We will not stand up for our own. So all the businesses in Ghana are now in the hands of foreigners. And we prefer that. And so when they carry the money and send it out, and then our cedi is depreciating, and our debt stock is rising because our money is worthless, who do we blame? The church can do it. The cathedral that we are struggling to build, one denomination in Ghana can build it. They will not. One denomination can build a cathedral. But if it's not me, and that's what we do, and that's what it's all about. Now let me say this. We need to understand this.
I want you to specially invite friends to join in, to subscribe. Let us hit those numbers just as you started with me on Facebook.
The beginning of the transformation of this nation is not to get the best finance minister. It's not to get the best president. It's to get a united church. Uniting doesn't mean that all of us have to have the same name. We don't. as I'm here, I have great respect to the apostle. I have great respect for him for two reasons. Pentecost existed before I was born. So even if Pentecost is bad, at least it existed and helped me to be born into it. We are quick to condemn everything Christianity, and at the end of the day, we end up destroying the power that we need to transform the nation. No matter how bad the church is, it gave birth to us. So if you think you are better, you need to understand that that which you think is bad gave birth to you. So you do something to change it. So that's one reason Pentecost existed before I was born. Number two, because he's a senior apostle. No matter what I know, there's an experience he has. I can't get it. So if I have opportunity to stand here to speak, it doesn't make me better than him in any way. And it's an opportunity I have to cherish. The fact that I'm standing here speaking and he is sitting down, it's one of the greatest honor I can carry to heaven. It's the honor of God. And finally, I spoke about a United Church. We call ourselves the kingdom of light. And we call everything else the kingdom of darkness. In Matthew chapter number 12, verse number 43 down to 45, there's a story most of us are familiar with. And it's a story we use for deliverance more. But there's a principle I want to pull out of that story and share with you quickly before I take my seat. And that is it. The Bible said that when a unclean spirit is cast out, he goes and comes back. And when he comes back and see that the house is polished, he won't go and stay in. He will go and bring in 7 other demons that are higher than him. And the Bible said that when they will come and dwell in that same house. And the Bible said the end result will be worse than the first. When you look at this story, whilst we will use it and quote it to cast out demon, there is a basic principle, the principle of unity in the kingdom of darkness. A divided church cannot win a battle against a united kingdom of darkness. And so we can do all the things we can do. We can pray all the prayer we pray. We can fast all the fasting we are doing. But until we understand that our majority here in Ghana is an opportunity for us to influence policies and transform the nation and get to the ground and make sure that everywhere that development is going on, there's a Christian there who is pushing it and influencing it. This demon, one demon, he owned a house, and the Bible says he was cast out. Now listen, the power, there was a power that cast that demon out. Where was that power when they became 8? Because that power that drove out that one demon was too weak to deal with 8 demons. Nobody came to help that power that dealt with the first demon. Nobody. We don't want to help ourselves to be strong. We prefer a church loses an auditorium so another person can go for it. We prefer a church loses something so that somebody can go for it. And we would prefer to gather a lot of crowds so that we can be called the best church. At the end of the day, no matter how big your church is, your judgment is on an individual basis. The demon, the Bible says, when he came and saw that the house he owned was cleansed, he did not rush to stay in because his objective was not to stay in a good house. So he went and brought in 7 demons that are higher than him. And all the men of God knows that in the realms of the spirit, if you are higher, it means you are stronger. So he brought in senior demons to stay in a house that was occupied initially by 1. 8 demons were able to stay in one house that 1 demon stayed before, because their objective was not comfort. They were not interested in comfort. They were interested in the destruction of that man. So if we inconvenience ourselves to make sure we destroy this man. No matter our rank, we will stay in that single room and make sure we achieve something. So that when we all live in a compound house, and some goes to assemblies, some goes to Pentecost, some goes to Anglican, some goes to Leadership Chapel, we will not wake up in the morning and everybody goes to church for morning devotion. When all of us living in the compound are Christians and we can all organize prayer and stop wasting time and organize ourselves, pray and build something. We don't understand. So once you wake up and you walk out, this one wake up and goes out, the demon knows that you can't fight him. The Bible said that no kingdom can stand when it's divided against itself. And that is one thing politicians in Ghana have succeeded in doing, to divide the church. They've been doing it so effectively that any government that comes has his own church and his own pastors. So some people can speak now. Next government, they will not speak. They will talk now. Next government, they will not talk. As if the devil has stopped operating once a government is changed. Our responsibility as Christians is to fight the enemy. The future of this nation depends on our unity, and we must stand together, and we must be ready to stand to support each other. And wherever I see a Christian, wherever I see somebody. Now, how many of us, when Reverend Jonathan was talking about the number of MPs the various churches has, how many people can take money and say, in 2024, we are looking for Christian MPs to support? The reason I'm saying this is because 2013, myself and Jonathan, we raised an objection against the appointment of Oyelitha because he spoke against Professor Mill's stance against LGBT. We came to Parliament when the vetting was going on, and one MP told me in face, he said, listen, if you want us to do something here, it will not work. Go out there and make noise. Here, we have already been bought. He told us, Jonathan is aware. We don't support them. We are in a hurry to buy a car for a celebrity that is sick, so society will think the church is doing something good. And we will not support a Christian to go to Parliament to help to formulate policies that will help generations to come. The church is in so hurry to do something for society without doing something that can survive. The things we do, the kind of, somebody said looking face, we do outside there to show that we are religious organizations. We should channel it to support policies that will be generational in its impact and effect, so that we will not have another generation come and struggle with a bill that shouldn't take too long to pass. Today, we are all happy. Some few weeks ago, we were all celebrating the ruling in America when abortion was canceled and it's no more national. Now it's states. Now, it was a deliberate plan. It wasn't prayer. It wasn't fasting. This is a 50-year-old law. When Donald Trump came to power, they told him, he said, I am going to put conservative judges in place who would change this law. So he appointed judges, and these judges, the 5 judges that Donald Trump influenced, are the ones who overturned the abortion law in America. We need to understand that. That's what we must do. That's why I said that we should move from religion to activism. Let's support our own. Honorable Ahmed, he's equally a good candidate for vice presidency. When we have somebody like this, even as a president, we can sleep. Because he is not just an MP, he's not just a politician, he's an Christian activist. Everything he says shows that he's an activist. But the noise he's making here is not out there because he's afraid of losing his seat.
I want you to specially invite friends to join in to subscribe. Let us hit those numbers just as you started with me on Facebook.